Alright, what's going on, guys? So for today's video, I'm going to do a very highly requested video. I get millions of comments asking about my controller settings. So I'm just going to go through my controller settings real quick, try to explain everything I use, and give reasons as to why I have some settings on and why I don't have other settings on, and so on. So to begin, obviously, I'm on controller. All these settings are kind of for movement, I guess, if you want to say. It's not specifically for movement. It's, I think these are just the best settings to use in general. This fits my gameplay. If you watch my gameplay and you want to play like me, I suggest using all these settings as well. A lot of these things are optional. I do have a lot of settings that are kind of, I've just always ran with them, so I don't feel like changing them. But yeah, so just to start, yeah, on the controller, my button layout, I have it on tactical. If you didn't know, I play claw. If you don't know what claw is, I'll try to put a picture up on the screen right now to show what claw is. But it's just a way you position your hand and your fingers on the controller. It's not how like the normal person plays or anything. A lot of people ask if I use paddles or a DS4 macro or anything like that. I don't use any of that. I just use my regular PS5 controller and I play claw. That's it. I don't have a macro or anything to do YYs. I kind of just like spam the triangle button. So I do play tactical just so that sprinting, or not sprinting, I'm sorry. I crouch with my R3. That's like the main thing. It's just easier for me to, do drop shots. It's also my slide button, which is obviously like one of the main things that you do on this game. The sliding for me is a lot easier using R3 rather than using, I think the normal thing would be the B button or the circle button. So yeah. I don't have bumper pings on. I don't have anything on over here. I just got the default layout for the controller. Vibration, you do not need to have this on. I have just always had this on in the past, so I just keep it on. It doesn't affect me that much. But I think it is better if you have it off. Don't know why exactly, but from what I know, like most people play with that off. But that's completely optional. Dead zone input. This is a big one for controller players. My left stick is on 2. My right stick is on 3. Everything else is default. If you don't know what dead zone is, it's kind of to help you deal with drift stick. And drift stick is when your right or left stick moves out on its own. So if you literally just load in a game and leave your controller as is, if your character is moving or like looking left and right on its own, even if it's a very minute and like slow, then you use dead zone to adjust it to where it doesn't move on its own. So a lot of times you kind of just have to find your own settings. That these settings are not going to be meant for everyone. If you have more drift stick than I do, then you're probably going to have to use a bit more dead zone than I do. But for me, 2 and 3 work the best. But again, literally, if you want to test it out, just load into a game. And if your controller moves on its own, just go up one setting each time until your controller stops moving, and then from there on you should be fine. On to aiming, I play on 1111. A lot of people think I play on 2020. I think that's just because of my FOV. I do play on 120 FOV, which kind of gives like the illusion of I have a faster sensitivity, but I just play on 1111. I don't have this setting on for either horizontal and vertical. Sensitivity multiplier just on 1. These are all just on 1 as well. Vertical aim axis, I have everything on standard. Tactical stance, I just have that on 1. Aim response curve type, I have that as dynamic. All of the descriptions for these types are right here. I'm not going to explain them. I use dynamic personally. I find it the best. A lot of the pros, from what I know, use dynamic as well. Any controller player, they usually use dynamic. So I suggest going with dynamic. Sense multiplier, focus on 1. Have sensitivity transition timing on instant. And then aim assist, obviously, you're a controller player, you're going to have this on. I mean, you can play it off if you want. It's totally up to you. But, you know us, we need our little handicap. So yeah, have aim assist on. I think the best aim assist type is default. I've always ran default on this game, and I'm pretty sure that people have put that out, that default is the best aim assist to have. So I suggest keeping it on default. ADS aim assist, if you want to have it off, go ahead. I have it on. These don't really matter. Alright, and down to the gameplay. So automatic tack sprint. That's a pretty big thing to use. If you don't know what that means, basically you can just move your left stick forward and you're going to automatically tack sprint. Now, this game does not have infinite tack sprint, so you don't expect to like always be in that tack sprint mode or whatever. It's going to run out at some point, and you're going to have to wait for it to reset before you can tack sprint again. But it is very nice to just have it to automatic so that I don't have to keep on clicking my sprint button. It just, you know, automatically does it when I move forward. Slide maintain sprint, that kind of helps with your momentum. So anytime you slide, if you have this setting on at least, when you slide, you kind of keep that momentum of what you had before you slid. So that's a really good thing to have on. Auto move forward, I have that off. I don't really see a reason why you want that on. This is something totally optional. This is like kind of your own preference, but I just have my tactical sprint behavior on double tap. I don't know why, but I'm just used to it, so that's what I use. Grounded mantle, I have it off. A lot of people like to have it on. I think MNK players especially like to have this setting on. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll try to put a clip on the screen right now to show what the difference is between having it on and off is. For the most part, it's really easy to mantle onto things. That's really it. Airborne mantle, I have that off. I have this off. Slide, so this is another big thing for a lot of players with movement and all that. I personally do not see the point of dolphin diving. I've never had a situation where I need a dolphin dive, so I just have slide only on. I don't want to worry about accidentally hitting dolphin dive. A lot of people like to use this hybrid mode right here, so tap to slide and tap while holding sprint to dive. That's completely optional. I think slide only is the best, you know, just because I don't really see the point of dolphin diving. Doesn't give you like a crazy advantage or anything. I do think that when you have slide only on, the delay between you hitting your slide button and then actually sliding, I think it's a lot better. Like there's not as much as a delay as if you were to rock any other setting. So I'd give that a try if you don't have that on. Water, that doesn't really matter. Sprint door bash, that's a pretty big one with movement. I'd have that on. Instead of having to actually open the door with your square, or I believe that's X on Xbox. Instead of having to do that, you can literally just run through doors, and it can kind of help you with, like, you know, in situations where you're trying to outplay a team. Mantle only, manual. ADS, I just have that on hold. You can have that on toggle if you want. I'm just used to having hold. There's not really a better way, really. Sprint, tactical sprint, and focus. Yeah, I just have that as that. I have my equipment as hold. I have my mounts, ADS melee. The rest of these don't really, you know, apply to movement or how you aim. These are just kind of like settings on what button you want to press in order to get into a certain mode. I do have prioritize interact on, so that anytime I'm trying to loot, instead of having to hold down my interact button, I can just press it. For me, that's a lot faster. It's less annoying. Armor plate behavior, this is a big one for a lot of people because a lot of people like to have apply all on it, and I think I agree. Honestly, you should have apply all on it, but personally I'm just so used to having apply one on that I just keep it as that. But apply all is definitely the better setting, so go with that. Basically the difference is you can just press your plate button once and it's going to put on all the plates until you're fully plated, while apply one, it's just gonna, you know, if I press it once, then it's gonna put one on. That's like the difference. Depleted ammo weapon switch, completely optional. Let's see, everything else, again, just copy down these settings. These aren't like very, you know, important settings to have. But yeah, so that's basically all my controller settings. Again, I just play on a regular PS5 controller, no paddles, no DS4, anything like that, just a regular PS5 controller. So I hope all those settings are helpful, and I'm gonna put on the gameplay right here shortly once I'm done talking. If you don't know, I do always have my controller settings at the very end of all my videos. Like literally all my videos, my settings are always at the end. And it's not only my controller settings, it's my controller settings, graphics settings, audio settings, and my video filter settings. So anytime you need any of those settings from me, if you like what I have going on, just skip to the very end of my video and it's always going to be there. Obviously this video is solely based on controller settings, but you can click on any other one of my videos, skip right to the end, and you can find all my settings there. I'm not going to always have an in-depth explanation for all my settings. I'm usually just going to play through them, show them all my settings, and then you guys just copy it down. But yeah, hopefully this helps out for you guys. You know, I definitely use this as a reference anytime you need to find settings. And yeah, enjoy your day.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Friendly loadout drops on the way.
How did he get I'm down.
Marking the rest of the squad on your tac map. Get hunting.
Why you bitch running around?
Squad on your tac map. Go get hunting. Confirmed. We located the rest of them.
Chill.
Marking the rest of that squad on your tac map. Go get hunting.
Oh, what?
Kill confirmed, and we located the rest of them. Marking the rest of that squad on your tac map. Get hunting.
That's that white bitch. Oh, did she come? No! Stay right, stay down.
Tracked by an enemy squad. Evade.
bro. Same chick ass will fuck you up.
Located the rest of them. Mark remaining operators in that squad. Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them. Dropping into the AO. Fire sale is active. Buy station. Marking the rest of that squad on your tac map. Get hunting. Tac map. Go get hunting. Kill confirmed. We located the rest of them. Gas is inbound.
Need recon overhead.
Prices are back to normal.
Oh, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here. On the left side. No. Oh, next side, next side. Oh. Hey,
Resurgence has been deactivated. This is the end game.
Stay alive, Tommy. I'm gonna give you stay alive, bro. Nah, nigga. You stay alive, bro. Oh.
Losing ground. Move it. Enemies dropping.
I ain't by that move. Oh, they're pushing, they're pushing. Behind me.
Enemy squad marked you as a battle.
He broke. Ah, here it is.